I feel that today there's this idea that women can dress however they want. Okay, it's utterly meaningless, and I'm like exposing 90% of my flesh right now. But how dare you be aroused? How dare you look away? How dare you? Do not make a remark. Okay, as I go with my Louboutin, like it's stiletto heels down the road like this. Okay, what? Okay, you're looking at my bum. How dare you? Okay, and so on. Right, absolute. There's a hypocrisy. Okay, and in a kind of self-delusion. Okay, that's operating among many young women, including feminists. Okay.
Welcome to Manosphere Highlights Daily. This video is requested by Mr. Anonymous. This is his message. Hello, brother. I sincerely appreciate your work and unbiased approach to your videos. I stumbled on this woman and I was highly impressed with her context and viewpoint. Check it out. Mr. Anonymous, thank you for your message. Salute! This woman is one like no other. It's Camille Paglia. She is very well known in the manosphere because of her battles with feminism, even though she is an feminist herself. In this video, we're gonna highlight some of the best parts from a must-watch timeless video where Camille Paglia sits down with Institute of Ideas director Claire Fox at the Battle of the Ideas.
Now, I'm not anticipating that you're all going to agree with everything she says, and if she doesn't upset some of you at some stage during this interview, something's gone horribly wrong.
The original video is an hour and 20 minutes long and definitely worth watching. You can find the link in the description. Disclaimer, this is a highlight video. I'll chime in here and there, and we will make a separate in-depth video about some of the things she said in this video. So without further ado, let's get this highlight reel started.
And these women like Katharine Hepburn, Dorothy Parker, Dorothy Thompson, Margaret Burke White. There were like just so many, and Anne Morrow Lindbergh. There were so many women who were achieving and who had attained a tremendous celebrity in the period of the 1920s, 1930s. That to me is my favorite period in feminism, okay? Because these women, okay, admired what men had done. Okay? There was no male bashing, as became systemic, okay, to second wave feminism. Okay, it's an absolute poison that has spread worldwide. Okay, a feminism based on denigrating men, trivializing what men have done, defining men as oppressors and tyrants through history. Okay, it is an absolute lie. I mean, there have been crimes against women where they have occurred. We must condemn them. Right, but men throughout history have given their lives, okay, and their labor for the support of women and children. Okay, so this is an element in second wave feminism that to me is an extrapolation of neuroticism on the part of these fanatics, okay, who have been attracted to this movement. Okay, I've been at war. Or Amelia Earhart admired what Lindbergh had done, and she was called the Lady Lindbergh when she crossed the Atlantic, heroically alone. Okay, in an airplane, you couldn't even see it out the windshield. She was like doing everything, by mechanically, etc. Right. So I feel that was the most helpful period in terms of the history of feminism.
I just want to add that feminism was never about equality. However, it did not start with an outright disrespect for men. Camille will explain the source of this disrespectful perspective.
Yeah. So when my generation arrived in college, I arrived in 1964 in college, and the colleges still believed they had the right and obligation to act in loco parentis, in place of the parent. Therefore, the women's dormitories, women were compelled to sign in at 11 o'clock at night, so we were safely inside. The men could run free, for the whole night. We're the ones who said, get out of our private lives. And the colleges said, no, the world is dangerous. We must protect you against. And what my generation said, was, give us the freedom to risk. That is true adulthood, okay, for women. And now everything has regressed, and I do believe it's because nothing has really happened, okay, to this generation. They have not had that initial experience that my generation did of war, and there's I think it's a result of the world of social media also, where people feel they have so many friends, okay, and they want a sense that reality is comfortable comforting them and cushioning them and so on. I think there's a great anxiety and a sort of weakness of outline of the personalities of young people. They do, to me, look like as an experienced classroom teacher of 45 years. I mean, I'm starting to feel, I'm starting to self-censor as I speak to them. I'm starting to, it's not that I give trigger warnings or anything like that, but I do feel that they are easily upset, okay, and that their education has been without a realistic introduction to the barbarities of human history, right? I feel that ancient history must be taught, okay, and that there's too much presentism right now. Right? They see a comfortable world around them, the world of the shopping malls, a world of material prosperity, right? And they believe that by any problems in the environment can be remedied by just a little, using a screwdriver, slightly tighten a screw, all right? And soon utopia, will happen. They have no sense, okay, of the special privileges they enjoy in this very affluent, culture. So I believe in introducing young people to the disasters of history.
Spoiled brat! Being a sociology enthusiast, I long ago came to the conclusion that the prevailing environment contributes significantly to current dysfunction and chaos. In my desire to create the family I wanted to have, I took my talents overseas. I moved to an environment that held certain values and standards. This is the hard lesson we want to teach you, fellas. Times have evolved, so it is unrealistic to expect traditional methods to fit smoothly into the modern landscape, because those traditional practices arose out of necessity during their respective eras.
So my book, Sexual Persona, my first book, is about what is the nature of artistic creation, and what is the nature of genius. And I said that men have indeed made most of the major landmarks in the history of the arts, and I tried to explain why. I said it's not because women have less talent, but that men are driven toward hallucination, obsession, okay, diversion, okay, from the priority of women's power over them. Okay? And I have all my theories about men's conceptualization that may indeed be related to the intelligence range. Okay, that is that women tend to show up at the great midpoint of the IQ range. And you have male geniuses and you have male morons, literally. Okay, and I also said that to me, crime. Okay, that crime is a conceptual activity, serial sex crime, and so on, and that this is. And I said there is no female Mozart because there is no female Jack the Ripper. Okay, you just do not find women showing up as serial murderers. Okay, so
this is gold, because many women often do not realize the challenges they face when seeking a top position. The saying, "It's lonely at the top," is true for a reason. The competition is intense, and it is a formidable task to go up against men who are completely consumed by their work, driven to the limit. Cannot just dismiss it by attributing it to unequal opportunity and the glass ceiling. The idea of a gender pay gap has been debunked many times, mainly because men put in more hours and are in riskier occupations that pay higher. The real truth lies hidden in the details of the data.
No, not the harm. No. They believe it's coming from social indoctrination. Right. They believe that men are born to a culture that privileges maleness, which is not at all true for many recent decades, right? And that they learn and therefore we can retrain them. We can indoctrinate them to change. You say, I'm the only one really talking about the biological roots of it, and there's, to me, absolutely incontrovertible that there is a biological basis to the greater visual component in male sexuality. All right, there are brain differences here. Okay? Males really do see the visual. They were aroused visually much more than women are. And I believe for whatever reason I'm able to see women in the way men see women, sort of like like Faye Dunaway in the eyes of Laura Mars or something. I feel like I'm like looking at things in the way men do.
It's called logic, and yes, biology is ignored by feminism because it undercuts all their arguments about equality. Men and women are biologically different. It's as simple as that.
I do believe that there is a vestigial hunting archetype still, okay, in that, and that's the way to look at it. It seems to me, the male gaze, that women of today, who have been raised in a highly sexualized environment with highly sexualized clothing, a product of my own generation's sexual revolution, do not understand that the way you dress and how much flesh you expose is a form of communication. It's a form of conveying sexual interest or readiness. Now you talk like this, and people will apparently lynch you, right now. Okay, I mean, I'm part of the pro-sex movement in feminism that was suppressed. Okay, during the 1970s, 1980s. We burst forth in the 1990s, thanks to Madonna, in her videos of the 1980s and early 90s and so on. All right, but the point is, I also understand, okay, that even while I support and defend and admire pornography and prostitution, I feel that today there's this idea that women can dress however they want. Okay, it's utterly meaningless, and I'm like exposing 90% of my flesh right now, but how dare you be aroused? How dare you look away? How dare you? Do not make a remark, okay? As I go with my Louboutin, like it's stiletto heels down the road like this, okay? What? Okay, you're looking at my bum. How dare you? Okay, and so on. Right? Absolute. There's a hypocrisy, okay, and in a kind of self-delusion, okay, that's operating among many young women, including feminists, okay? Right? So I'm not saying don't dress like that. I'm saying yes, dress like that, but be prepared to defend yourself, okay? Because the street, I call my philosophy street smart Amazon feminism, okay? All right? The street belongs to you. Yes, you have every right, like as a drag queen would, okay, to dress as you want and to bring public attention to yourself. But stop lying to yourself that you're advertising, okay? You're advertising, and I've written before. If you advertise, be ready to sell.
Women know exactly what they're doing, okay? That's why it's not equality they want. They want supremacy. They want to have that cake and eat it too. And men are sick and tired of it. It's so freaking childish. That's why it's not our responsibility to save them when they get in trouble. This world can be an ugly place. And to protect you from danger sometimes means I have to prevent you from getting into trouble. But when I do that, I am controlling. I am abusive. So this means it's your responsibility to protect yourself if you get in trouble.
The most controversial piece I ever wrote was my date op-ed, okay, for New York Newsday in January of 1991, and I was persecuted for that for years and years and years. And I've walked off talk shows live, and I walked off the Queen Elizabeth Hall stage, to avoid fisticuffs with a moderate who will not be blamed. Let's not name
her. Nameless.
Yeah, she was like one of the Stalinist feminists who infest London. Okay, all right. And I absolutely feel, okay, that if women expect to be treated seriously in modern society, if they expect to achieve, okay, they must accept full responsibility for their part in every encounter, potentially romantic or sexual encounter with a man. Okay, we're not talking here. I don't know this case. Okay, I keep hearing snatches of it. Okay, I don't know this case, but in my view, okay, we're not talking about a woman being snatched off a street who is going about her business as an innocent, and of course that would be a case of kidnapping, abduction, which one must condemn. Okay, but the moment you have private individuals who come together with mutual sexual interest, okay, in a context that can lead to sex, okay, I believe the women must accept full responsibility for their behavior and for what they are conveying in it. Okay, and it's mixing up of. That essay that I wrote on Dick begins by saying, okay, it is an outrage that cannot be tolerated in civilized society. I begin with that premise and then go on from there to say that what's called date okay, is to me a distortion, of proper feminism, okay? These are the freedoms that my generation won. The freedom for women to go out without a chaperone or a duenna, okay, and being simply a child as defined by society, okay? So we're in a period now where there's a tremendous mix-up. I absolutely reject the idea that young women on dates, or any woman on a date, okay, should be put into the same category, okay, as an authentic victim of rape who should reserve, should be reserved, our true outrage should be reserved for. Right? So women want it both ways. That's what I think. That there's the lack of psychological acuity or subtlety in current feminist discourse has produced part of this problem. Now, at my experiences with women, I've been a total failure as a lesbian. Let me tell you right now. Okay, I can understand. I really understand how maddening women are to men. Okay, absolutely maddening. I mean, a man can clearly read that a woman is interested in a sexual way by her body language and so on and so forth. All right, and then he makes a move on her, and absolutely not. How dare you, etc. I mean, I'm telling you, women are everything that men see in women. Okay, this quality. I have seen it. Okay, all right. Because
it's pure gold to see her body language express how exhausting and frustrating women can be. This space keeps growing because this is something men in general can relate to. Red-pilled or not.
Women don't have the marker of their own excitation. Okay, a man knows immediately. He gets a hard-on, like immediately. He knows, oh, I'm interested. Okay, whether it's a gay man or a straight man. Okay, but women can be in a. You absolutely can read a radiating sexual readiness, and then yet, oh, how dare you? Okay, and so on. I'm telling you. Okay, all right. Men's frustration with women. Okay, is actually based in reality. So, I mean, I do feel that. That right now, when you have this overbearing kind of this fascist intrusion by authority figures into declaring these are the rules of sex, you must transfer every possible sensory impulse or sensation into words. I mean, it's almost ridiculous. It's almost like we're reading a satire. Okay, you need a Pope or a Swift. You need to deal with the limited mentalities of these commissars of government and of universities who dare, okay, to intrude into young people's social and sexual lives. How dare they? They're vampires, okay? It's up to young people to rebel. Young people must rebel and say, get out of our sex lives, okay? Exactly the way my generation did.
Right.
Man, that's where we working. Patreon supporters, salute! This video has officially been highlighted.